All right, number 6 on the confidence ladder is momentum. So I'm going to give you a couple examples about momentum and how it can help or hurt you. First one I'm going to talk about is momentum in your game, in your sport. And so think about this. When your team is on a roll, let's just say you're scoring 3, 4, 5, 6 runs in one inning, and your team's getting hit after hit, right? And now you're up to bat. Would you agree that you now have a lot more confidence going up to the plate when your team has that momentum rolling? I know for me, I had way more confidence. I wasn't worried about getting out, and I was just trying to continue the momentum that the team had been, doing essentially by getting hit after hit, scoring run after run. And so on the flip side, if my team's now in the 4th or 5th inning and we haven't scored a run yet, we have not built up any momentum at all, now I start to feel a lot more pressure. I start to feel a little bit less confident in my ability to get something going. And so momentum can play a huge role in our sport as an athlete, with how we're doing, with how our team is doing. Let's think about how it can apply to you individually. If you're in a slump and you're going through, you had 5, 6, 7 games where you haven't got a hit, would you not agree that you have no momentum built up and that it feels really hard and feels really stressful now all of a sudden to get out of that slump where there has been a lack of momentum, right? And think about on the flip side, when you are rolling, where maybe you got a hit streak going, where you've got a hit or a couple hits over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 games, you now feel like it's easier and you feel like your confidence is way higher because of the momentum you've built up. And so we can't ignore momentum. It's a real thing, and it's something that we should try to create more of, and once it is created, stay in it as long as we can. Now, how does this happen? And that's the real question. To be honest with you, it starts by taking action. Now, this one's related to the work that we talked about. If you're putting in the work, if you're putting in the steps, and you're taking steps one after another, you're building momentum. You're building a rhythm, a pace, and a cadence that's going to set you up for a better chance to now get into more positive momentum and allow something positive to happen. And again, once good things start to happen, you've created that momentum, it's so much easier to stay in that flow once it's created. And that's what's really important. We need to understand that in this section. Momentum is so much easier to keep rolling, to keep it flowing once it's already been put in place. And it's really hard to get it going out of nowhere. But to get the momentum started, you need to start taking baby steps. You need to start doing one thing at a time. And that is the stage where you cannot think about the result yet, and you cannot think about you can't even think about momentum in itself. You need to just be in the process of making some movements, making some progress, and getting the ball starting to turn. That's it. Just start to get the ball rolling and turning by taking the one good thing you can do. 1 or 2 steps that you can do just to get that traction. And so getting traction is key to then getting into momentum. You can't get into momentum without any traction. And when I say traction, I'm referring to these 1 or 2 baby steps that you need to take. That is exactly it, to get the traction, to get moving, to lead into the momentum. Now, think about how this applies to your life. If you are in a routine and you have some momentum going with getting homework done every day, routinely, even just 30 minutes, you've built up momentum. You've built up a routine where now this is something that's easier to do continuously. And if you had spring break and a week off of school and you haven't done anything, and then that first day comes back to school, it's hard to then get into that momentum of wanting to do the work again. And so momentum is very related to routines. And so I want you to be able to create good routines to then get into a good state of flow and momentum to allow yourself to keep rolling. Right? The hardest part of getting a ball rolling is the beginning effort to get it going. Once a ball is rolling, it's so much easier to stay into that flow and stay into that rhythm and momentum. And you've got to understand how this applies to everything in life, not just one thing. It's not just sports. It's not just your ability to be a good hitter or a good player or a teammate or a good in school. It's everything. It's all going to connect. And if we can start to figure out how to get more traction and get more momentum going, we're going to have so much more confidence, and that's the key, confidence into what it is we're doing. We start to think less as well, and that's really important. When we start to overthink, we're killing our momentum. And so we want to be able to have clear, concise thoughts on what it is we want to do to then get that momentum going, to keep that confidence rolling. Again, think about your hit streak where you had 4 or 5 games in a row where you had, you're getting hits and you feel like you can't get out, and you have that momentum flowing and that confidence. When you're in that state of mind, are you overthinking it? I don't think any of us are. I think we're just starting to feel the flow and the pace and just the mannerism in which we want to play in, which is also a state of being loose, free, and aggressive. And so when you can live life that way, right? Loose, free, aggressive, thinking about what you can make happen as opposed to being worried about what you can mess up, that's all related to being in a good momentum flow. And again, the confidence then is going to be rolling as well. And so analyze and ask yourself the question. Break it down into 2 categories, your sport and just your life outside of sports. If you go into sports, what are the things that you do that help your momentum and help your confidence? And what are the things that are hurting you right now? And apply it to life as well. What are the routines you're doing in life that are going to lead to more momentum and a better chance for success and a better chance to feel confident? Last thing, momentum is not really a measurable thing at all. It's something that you feel inside. Just like confidence, right? We can't put a stat to it. We can't put a number to it. It's an internal feeling. It almost feels like it's something in the air at times as well. As a fan watching sports, we can see the momentum of a game flowing for one team or the other team. And then we can also see when the momentum shifts directions, when something happens, a big crucial moment in a game, it might shift momentum for the other team. And so, again, when we're a fan watching the game, if you think about that momentum shift, it's an internal feeling. It's not a measurable thing, but we all acknowledge that it's real and it's there. And it's there to help out your confidence or your team's confidence in the next endeavor. So you don't need to overthink this, just acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and think about, even if it's one little thing that can help you throughout your journey of applying momentum in your favor in a way that it can help you and not hurt you.